finally, I want to do a comparison of this against the Jibun Techo Biz Mini. This is the 2019 version that I use, but the size and general format should be about the same, as well as the Hobonichi Cousin. This is what I've been using for 2020. So for starters, if you're looking between the Wonderland planner in the B6 size and the Jibun Techo Mini, which is the B6 slim size, this is what they look side by side. As you can see, the Mini is slightly taller but slightly thinner. This is what they look like compared when it comes to their thickness. They are pretty comparable. I would say the Mini, the Jibun Techo, this is the Biz Mini, is a bit lighter because it also doesn't have this kind of thicker cover. I think that adds a bit of weight, but it's nothing, it's not a significant difference. Especially if you compare these to this guy over here. This is heavier, no contest. Now, looking at the insides, their layouts are really a lot different. This is 8 columns. It has the full length for each weekday and a spot for a to-do list or something like that, as compared to this one, which was 6 columns. The weekends are stacked, and there's technically no space for to-do list, but there is blank space at the bottom. The paper is also different. This is a special paper done by this Jibun Techo brand. This is the Tomoe River paper, which you would be familiar with in all the Hobonichi products. Although I will say this paper does seem, I don't know if I would say smoother. It doesn't seem as crinkly as the Hobonichi Cousin. So it may be the same type of paper, but the makeup or whatever they use to seal the paper might be different than the actual Hobonichi company. Besides that, the other major differences, so between the Techo, the Mini, the Jibun Techo Biz Mini, the Jibun Techo Mini, and the Jibun Techo Lite, their layouts are obviously going to be a lot different than, oops, that's my planning from the past, than what you would expect to see in this one. If you're wanting a review of this planner and the Lite, I have it for the 2019 and the 2020 Lite version. I don't have the planners for 2021, but I think the tweaks to it were very minor. It's not like completely new products. So you can look at some videos I have for that if you want a look at these Jibuns. But like I said, they are very different in terms of their layouts. They are both vertical weekly planners. They have the months in it. They both are November starts, things of that nature. And they are similar in size, but the actual details of each planner are definitely different. One other thing to note is that the grid size in the Jibun Techo Mini is going to be much smaller than the grid size you'll find in not only the Wonderland planner, but in the Hobonichi planners as well. I want to say this is 3 millimeters and this is 4, I think is what we looked up. And so for me, I know I used to write in it, you can see, but I was writing just tiny, and I have not been writing that small in a long time. So that's what made the Jibun Techos a deal breaker for me this upcoming year, is I just don't feel like I can write that small anymore, and it's not good for my eyes, I guess. And so that's that one. And then I know a lot of people use the Hobonichi Cousin, which I have been using for the past 2 years for a lot of different things. And so I just wanted to do a quick kind of look between these two in case this was something So for me, I'm always wanting something a bit smaller that I can carry around. The A5, which is what the Cousin is, can pack a lot of information in it, which is why I like it, because I'm obsessed with the idea of just having like one planner, one thing for my whole life. But it is kind of clunky to carry around for me personally. And so that's why I'm hopeful I can find a planner that's slightly smaller but still accomplishes similar things. And so this is kind of what the size comparison looks like. Can't adjust my camera, so you can see obviously much smaller in terms of just the height and width, and then probably about half the size if you look at it, very much smaller than the Cousin. And my Cousin, some people's Cousins get really chunked up. I don't put too much decorations inside, so mine is not much extra volume added to this one. Just a comparison on the grid size, because I just gone over that. You can kind of see here that it looks pretty close. This is just slightly larger. And so like when you try to line them up, for example, it might start off the same, but then by the time you get down to the bottom, they are slightly off. So grid size is just a bit bigger, but it's really not a huge difference. I think this is maybe what, 3.7 or so, give or take, and then this is, like I said, that 4mm. And then of course I can show you the blank weekly in the Cousin versus the weekly in the B6 Wonderland. Again, this is the full column for each day and a to-do list versus a stacked weekend and no space for the to-do list. Although I will say the columns themselves are almost as thick. They're maybe slightly wider if you just look, kind of trying to line them up a bit. Maybe a teeny bit wider overall, and then their top space is kind of comparable, and then you just lose this last bit if you're looking at just a by column kind of comparison. But yeah, so I think that is it for the comparison video. Let me know if you have any questions about further details on those kind of comparisons. I guess I can bring them all in here. These are the planners that I have on hand. I also have a Hobonichi Weeks, but I felt like that layout was way different than any of these, so it didn't kind of feel like it played into the comparison video. But yeah, this is the Wonderland 222 2021 in the B6 size. If you have any questions about this planner, about its companion notebook that you can buy along with it, or comparison to any of the other planners that I just showed you, let me know. I'm happy to send you pictures or go more in depth if there is a request for that. But I think that is it for now. So with that said, glad to be back, and I hope you all found this video helpful. Let me know if you have any questions, but that's it for now. Bye guys.